What's up, guys? Today something a bit special. I wanted to make a series talking about two of the best players in the world who are currently playing in the World Championship. And my first guest today is GHATLUE from Nouns Esports, who has been dominating Europe. Hi, GHATLUE. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
So your team has just been absolutely stomping Europe for the past few months, winning literally everything. And maybe my audience wants some secrets, like what do you guys do different compared to other teams? You guys are have a lot of variety. You guys are very unique, come up with strategies. Who's like the main thing in your team that comes up with these unique strats?
Like the entire team comes with the unique strats. Every time we play against someone, before a huge tournament starts, we think about how they play and how we can do the early game good enough so we can have our stacks, we can have our power spikes, so we're not falling off behind. And then we are making sure that G-Knight gets level 8 so we can secure the objectives together.
In this tournament, especially in the grand finals that we're watching right now, you went into Trevenant. So you played Trevenant, I think, through this entire tournament. What made you play Trevenant?
I made me play Trevenant because we knew that focus ban Lucario on bot lane is something different and people won't expect a Lucario to go bot lane. So if a Lucario is bot lane and we have someone on top lane that can stack and can have his power spec at level 5 like Lucario and can stay top lane and has a huge power spec at level 7, that's why we choose Trevenant because he's strong level 5, he's strong level 7, and he's just absolutely dominant with the way I play him because I play him with Lafite. That's why I secure everything on top lane.
I saw you also planned for the double stacking build, right? The cookie, I think you played.
Yeah.
Focus spend, attack rate, right? Was the full build. Is that something you just decided before the tournament? You practiced it, or did you just feel like, oh, this is feeling good right now, I'm just going to play it?
We actually practiced Trevenant before the tournament, but we didn't show anyone that we played Trevenant. Like we played it other tournament before. It was Road to London pub tournament, and we didn't play Trevenant there because we didn't wanted to leak our strat, and that's why we had a process 2 weeks thinking about what we should do, and we actually found that Trevenant's broken, so we're not playing it.
So what would you like to give a team that, thinks about playing Pokemon Unite as like a 5-man pre-made or tournaments? What do you think is like the biggest skill these teams need?
To trust each other and to know what they are capable of. Because everyone has a different playstyle, but the playstyles need to synergize. So, if you synergize with your teammate and you know what your teammate is capable of and what you cannot do, then you are less throwing the game and you are thinking about everything that is important. Because if you are ahead, you shouldn't end. If you are behind, you should try to make a big play, or you should just make something, but not let the enemies do whatever they want.
Very great. And you're also a team that really likes flipping Zapdos. Are you just very confident that you have just perfect timing on the Zapdos, or is that just something, like you just know how to win the game? It's just, Zapdos is there, right? It has to be taken. You're just like, are we the better team? We just have better timings. We just go for it.
There's a process of thinking when to flip Zapdos or when to flip objectives. When the enemies don't care about their positioning and they are letting us go in the middle and Hoopa is not there to portal them, we just say we flip the Zapdos if no one is there. We have better secure, no one is there, so we just do it. Most likely when people die before Zapdos, we have a higher chance of winning the Zapdos. We just synergize our secure. Other teams are not synergizing the secure, and that's why most likely be secured because we have the position and we synergize our secure. And people are always skeptical about should we flip Zapdos, should we not flip Zapdos? And
yeah, for sure.
We used to always flip Zapdos in February finals and the other finals, but now we are thinking about when to flip Zapdos. Can we flip Zapdos? Should we bait them? And other things. You need to know what to do at the end game because end game always matters throughout the game. You can lose a game, but you can win a game with Zapdos. But also you can do the Yamada strat from Japan, where you can just counter score. So end game has a lot of different possibilities you can do.
I feel like Rotom is always a hot topic as well. Do you guys care about Rotom at all on your team? Do you like is something you want to prioritize? Is something you want to go for? Or is just like it's just a bonus in case you get it, but you don't really play for it?
It's an interesting question. We just take the Dreadnought for XP. And after we get the Dreadnought, either we push bot lane because we are able to push bot lane because we have the power specs and they have no ultimates. But if they have ultimate, and for example, you play Trevenant, you can just portal top lane, push the Rotom to you, and just take it. Trevenant, Rotom is not that important because you just take the Rotom to add pressure, another pressure into the game. Because if you have the Rotom and the Dreadnought, then they need to fight for the Rotom, so we can take our jungle, we can push bot lane, or we can even push the Rotom because we are too strong. But if you're behind and you give the enemies the Rotom plus the Dreadnought, then it's just really hard because Rotom doesn't really matter, but sometimes it matters to add pressure. Like the first Rotom doesn't really matter because if you destroy the top lane point, for the enemies, they get Albino, so they get extra HP, XP. But if you know that if you push the Rotom, destroy the point, and take the Albinos and kill them, it's just way more pressure than what other teams do. They do the Rotom, they're breaking the point, but they are not going for the Albinos. Like Revenant or Greedent can do it because they're really tanky and they have a lot of mobility.
All right, talking about the World Championship as well a bit. Like, is there any region you really fear? How confident are you going into the World Championship?
I think that Blackhand is really strong. It's like really strong team, and they're getting better and better. In our group stage, especially, it was like, okay, there's Xyz, there's Stamina, and there's IX. Because IX lost Rin, we're not really scared of IX anymore, to be fair. But I think Japan, like G2 and Secret Ship, are pretty strong. And I think also Renaissance.
So you actually think that Korea is also going to have a great chance, right? Or do you like...
Yes.
Do you, okay. And besides that, is there like any underdog region you're like, oh, those actually could perform, like Brazil or India or, you know, Philippines or SEA? I think are also pretty strong teams, right? Is there anything where you're like, oh, these teams I think is the big underdog for this tournament?
I heard that a lot of people think that Iceland is the dark horse in the tournament. They could do something, and I just don't know how their game is developed, like their sense of the game, their map awareness, their macro, because we never really play against them. And when we play against them, it's red ping, but also we play on red ping, we still win the game in ladder. But ladder is not like you can't compare ladder with scrimming. If you're scrimming a team, you know the team better, and you know how they play. But the way they played, it's a bit weird. But I think that just EU, NA, and Japan are the strongest regions out of
Do you
all.
think, honestly, that's a good question. Do you think other regions are prepared for you flipping Zapdos on spawn? Do you think they're prepared for it?
I think they are trying to mentally prepare for it. Like other regions always say, okay, this team flips Zapdos. But sometimes we don't flip Zapdos, we bait them. Or
Right.
we do something else. They just don't know what we do. Because if we are ahead of them, like you said earlier, if we are ahead of what we are doing and what they think we are doing, then we can just punish them. Because we are always like, this is our game, this is not their game. But if it's equal, it's a bit harder. But at the moment, like with the regionals and stuff, it was just our games. Like we were thinking about it and it just worked.
So if Zapdos spawning right here, how do you shock your team around on Zapdos? Like, what is your thought process going to the Zapdos fight?
Where's the Hooper? Where's the enemy Hooper? I want to know where the Hooper is. Zone out the Hooper.
There you killed him. There we
Kill
go.
And you just think about what to do because enemy teams want to be in a position to like not let us flip. But also, if we want to flip, we need to know where the Hooper is because Hooper can bring out the entire team. If the Hooper is not there, or if the Hooper is dead or catched off guard, then it's just insane for us. But also, like, the Hooper is the only one that kind of plays alone. Like, he needs to play behind the team to support them. He's a supporter. He's not like Eldegoss, like, that can support and just use Unite and heal everyone and push everyone away. After Hooper uses Ultimate, he attacks the enemies. But if everyone chases Hooper and he's dead, then it's just easier for us to flip the Zapdos. But also, Hooper is just really strong in this game. Like at the moment, Hooper is not really impactful. For example, for other regions because they don't play Hooper. But it's gonna be interesting, like to see other regions not playing Hooper against us. So we will see.
If it's not yourself, I know this is like a very weird question to ask, but who do you think is the best player if it's not you? Because I mean, you're probably one of the best players in Europe. You're a good shot caller as well. You're a very big character pool. But besides you, who do you think is like, wow, this guy is very, very good? I mean, all of your team is just insane, right? You win every single tournament very cleanly. But who do you think is like the truly standout person in Europe?
In Europe?
Yes, in Europe.
I think in Europe it's probably Adesso and Xante. Like, this is like my favorites from attacker. Like, it's different roles. I can't really say who is the best. Because I think Adesso is better than me with Dragonite, for example, or different Pokemon. And Xante is just mechanically skilled. He plays really well. He carries the teams. If a player can carry a team alone, like in other regions, Overlord or Win, for example,
Yeah,
then it just makes something out of this game. Yeah, I think
for
like
sure.
Prof is just support. He makes it like everyone has a role in the game, and everyone should fulfill his role. Especially attackers or playmakers pop more out because they need to make plays so the game flow is good and the team can do better stuff. But if they don't make any plays like Lucario, Redmar securing objectives, then it's gonna be a bit harder for us. Like for example, I can't play Lucario, so I think Redmar is one of the best Lucarios in Europe.
Yes. So in this tournament especially is where you played Energy Amplifier, right? Energy Amplifier Lucario with close combat X attack. Like who in your team came up with that? Was it Redmar? Was someone like saying, we just go for flips anyways, just try out this build? Like who came up with this?
With the Lucario builds,
Yes.
it's always Redmar. Like
Okay,
as
okay.
Redmar said, if he wins Worlds, he's gonna do a full review how to play Lucario, what items, when to run the items, and just like Redmar is crazy. He's
Okay.
experimenting. Like other people are not experimenting sometimes. Like Japan, for example, they play different comps everywhere. We just don't know what they do, but it's working. So yeah.
And worldwide,
And
yeah,
I think
exactly. Worldwide, what do you think is like, your favorite player, or what do you think you like really respect and look up to? Maybe there's someone you look up to,
who do I look up
or,
to?
or like a player you really like facing. Let's just say a player you really like facing in the tournament, where you be like, oh, I want to play this guy in the World Championship.
I really like to face Overlord because I
Okay, yeah,
think I can get better on top lane by playing against them. But I also think that um, Toon, like he's a sub for Black Hunt, is also an insanely player. But he subs for Black Hunt, so we don't know if we play against him or not.
yeah, that's for sure. Also, another thing I wanted to ask is like, how do you set your team comps? Do you just try to stick to something, or do you try to respond to what your opponents played? Like you scout them out, you see what they play. Do you try to adjust your team comp? Because in this tournament, you kind of played, I think, the same thing mostly, right? So do you just like,
Yeah,
we just, if our opponents, have something unique, we might try something else. Otherwise, we just know we're the best team. We're sticking to what we know best.
that's a good question because when we have a comp, like you can see it in other different like regions in our region, we play a comp Blizzy, Hooper, Dragonite. Blizzy, Hooper, Dragonite, and two other Pokemon. Sanina, Lucario, and I play just everything I can possibly flex for my team. Because you can't play Greedent against certain Pokemon, you can't play Trevenant against certain Pokemon. But Lucario, Blizzy, Hooper, Hooper, Blizzy, and Dragonite are just really broken. Like,
Yeah.
even if you play a counter pick, these Pokemon are broken. Like, Dragonite is also like he can get countered, but he has a great secure, he has a great early game, and he's overall really great throughout the entire game. But other Pokemon can get countered. Like Lucario can get countered by a Slowbro, for example. So you need to adapt to the enemies, like what they play. For example, Geese plays Hooper, right?
Yep.
He's an insanely good Hooper, and he knows what he's doing. He knows what he's capable of. We always ask, why are other regions not playing Hooper? Like Hooper just gives you so much.
It is insane, yeah.
Yeah.
So much mobility, so much safety, just a free base, free safety, and then the Unite move is also. You can always, even if you're behind, right? Tupa can just speed into Zapdos, and even if you're behind, you can make a Zapdos flip happen. So yeah, talking about playing from behind. So let's say you lose the first threat now. What is your game plan? What do you tell your team to do? Is there like any thoughts that you have practiced of what to do when you're behind?
Usually when we are behind and enemies are ahead, they are getting cocky. They're trying to make places that they shouldn't do. A lot of teams are doing it. Like they're giving us comeback XP to come back in the game. Like as long as we are getting comeback XP or we are preparing our ultimates, like if you need the ultimate for the second red. If you don't have Hooper ultimate for second red now, and the other Hooper has ultimate, it's gonna be hard to get it. Like you are not allowed to lose every dread now in the game when you are playing from behind. Because you need to score and you need XP. So this is really important. Share XP with your teammates. Who needs the XP? What should we do? Can we make a play on bot lane? They didn't use any ultimates, so we can push. All of this stuff needs to happen really quickly when you lose a game. If you don't think about anything, you just take your jungle and you're not making any play, you just lose the game.
It's totally losing, right? Yeah. Would you also just like sometimes recommend if you're very behind to just don't use Unite moves for Dreadnought, just instead look for pickoffs. Just the enemy jungler's there, you just, let's just all Unite move him, get comeback experience, go for a goal. Is that also something you look out for? Or do you just really want to just try to fight the second Dread?
It's also an interesting question because our team is not doing it. Like, our team is always trying to secure because we know we can secure.
Alright.
If we have ultimates, if we have the position, we want to secure it. So if they try to secure it, while we're securing it, they're losing damage. So after we secure it, they are dead.
Okay.
Most likely going to be die. Like, it's hard to say because teams that are not trustworthy with the secure, they need to look for kills. They need to look for comeback XP. They can even say, okay, we don't want this Dreadnought. We take the enemy jungle. We take our jungle, and we get the bottom. We get XP. We get points, but we're not trying to secure because we can't. Sometimes you just can't secure because you are too behind, for example.
And you said you try to kill cocky enemies, right, when they overextend when you're behind. But what do you do to make sure you stay in the lead when you're ahead? Do you also play very aggressive? Do you look for gold, or do you just safely farm and just make sure that, keep staying ahead in experience without giving comeback experience? What is your game plan when you're ahead?
When we are ahead, we are trying to look for the objectives. Get the objectives, get the farm, think where the enemies want to play. Do we have any ultimates to counterplay it? Can we rotate bot lane to protect the point? Trevenant, for example, Trevenant is one of these Pokemon that cannot die on a point. If he has ultimate and the enemies try to engage on you, you cannot kill him. He's gonna kill you when you try it. Blastoise, for example, also really strong. Venusaur. These Pokemon are just really effective, and that's why I like to play these kind of Pokemon. They are just insane in zoning.
Yeah, green is, you're very known for your greedent, right? Even though you haven't played this tournament much, also you pretty much play jungle, top lane, bot lane. What do you just think that you can play all these roles and you just more enemies can't prepare for us because we don't know where GHATLUE goes, we don't know what he has planned, we don't know what he's playing. Is that kind of your thing? Because you sometimes play Blastoise bot lane with semi jungle. Next game you play Treven, and next game you play green bot lane invade, style. So there's always something else from you.
Yeah, this is also really interesting because I'm trying to adapt to the enemies, but also to my teammates. Because if they need XP, I'm gonna steal the enemy XP with Greedent. If I'm always trying to pick the characters that my teammates need. Because Hoopa, you can do a lot of stuff. You can play 2-1-2, you can go counter jungle, you can go bot lane, you can be extremely annoying and just be everywhere. It's just like a Greedent playstyle, but as a support. And Redmog goes bot lane, Redmog goes top lane. It's just these things, you need to be flexible if you want to play this game, in my opinion. Just to, as you said, be unpredictable.
So in this game, we flipped Zapdos and we sadly lost it. What is your game plan now? after messing up, the last hit, which can happen, of course, the enemy Venusaur sniped it away. You just try to counter score as fast as you can, defend, look for kills. What is your main priority?
We are trying to score as much as possible. We are looking for kills, but we right now we cannot look for kills because every one of us died and we lost the Zapdos. The reason why we wanted to do this Zapdos is because we were high.
Position, right?
We won the first game. We were in position, but we didn't synergize our secure. We did the secures too early. Zapdos was 70%. Everyone used the ultimate. So you need to know stuff like this. You need to practice. Because if you're not confident with the secure, you're most likely not gonna win it. But also you need to keep in mind we have one of the best players, one of the best Lucaris in our team.
Oh yeah, Redmo is just insane. Yeah, Redmo is just insane. How many Zapdos does he get? How many Dreadnoughts he get? And I really like that he made Power Punch Lucario meta again, right? After all these extreme speed Lucarios, he's just no, I'm playing Power Punch. I'm just getting objectives which win the game instead of dealing damage, right? So that was, I really like this. And right now we have 40 seconds left. Do you just look for a last push? I know it's very, very difficult. You're just trying to kill the Blissey right here. But you just look for a push together on one goal and just try to farm Unite boost back up, right?
Yeah. Just get your Unites, think what you can do. And if you lose a flip, it's really hard. Because if you flip an objective, you basically waste your entire think how to come back. Because you cannot come back because you don't have anything anymore. And you just need to think about what can I do because we flip the objective. Flipping is always really hard because if you're behind and you flip an objective and the enemy is secured, then you most likely lose. But in this game in particular, we were the entire game ahead. We were level 14.
Yes.
We could have done it way differently, but we just said, okay, we want to win this. They're out of position. And especially me as a short caller, need to improve as in
It
short
was
calling.
very
Because
close.
yeah, I said I want to flip it, and my team just went for it. They trusted me, and that's what you need as a team.
Well, I
Like
mean,
you need to trust your
we see the
teammates.
game stat, right? Like right here, you're trying to zone your opponents. Again, you said you're looking for the enemy hooper, right? As much as you can,
Yeah.
and as soon as you see the enemies are all here, right? They're so far. We're like, okay, let's do Zapdos, right? We bursted so fast. We can see on spawn Zapdos dies so fast, and but yeah, we pretty
Did you
much this
see
is
that?
the problem, right? Yeah, exactly. The Bliss
It
Unite is
was too
pretty
early.
early as well. The Lucario Unite is at half HP, and then the Zapdos stun actually messes you up completely, and the Venusaur Unite was perfectly timed, so it can happen. Yeah, just
Like,
Unite sometimes, right?
do you see what Zavas did? Really wrong. Like after getting the Zapdos, being ahead, just using a random ultimate that does nothing. Hooper ultimate is always really
Yes.
good, but this is just a random ultimate that can basically throw you the game. Because we are scoring, and you cannot use the portals to reset. So
Yeah.
like basically, you throw an ultimate that is really good to protect the point, but also like you need to think about what you always do in this game. Because if you waste your ultimate, if you overextend, like a lot of things can just break you the game. And that's why Unite is so interesting. It's only 10 minutes and everything can happen in the 10 minutes. You can lose a game, flip a Zapdos and win.
Exactly.
Basically.
And this right here is the last Zapdos of the tournament. And this time you can see you guys didn't go for it, right? This time you were like, all right, we can just play it safe, right? We have such a huge lead when it comes to experience, to points. And just lead me through this late game right here. What are your thoughts, Process?
To be fair, I wanted to flip the Zapdos, but
Okay.
I wanted to flip the Zapdos, but we are a team. We want to like I want to hear a lot of things when I play the game. Guys, let's flip the Zapdos. But then Guy says, don't flip the Zapdos, we can just bait them in and kill them. Like stuff like that is also really important. If you are the main short caller and you do a wrong short call, then just trust on your other teammate. Because if you have only one voice in the game, it's really hard. Like it's mentally really hard, and like you need to think about everything if you are the main shot caller. But if you have micro shortcuts that can support you throughout the game, and then you can focus on your gameplay plus short calling, this is just really nice. Because sometimes I just want to flip it, even though it's not the right call.
All right, GHATLUE, thank you very much for this interview. I think it was very fun. I think a lot of insights. And feel free to shout out your channel, your Twitch. I know you're streaming every single day. Let the viewers know where they can find you.
You can find me on Twitch. I'm almost streaming every day, 5 to 6 days a week. I am on Twitter as well, posting some funny stuff. And I'm also on YouTube. But I'm not really that active on YouTube. I'm just trying to make videos and of our tournaments and games that are really funny. But also shout out to my fans because they are supporting us, and it's just amazing. I can't believe that I have so many fans that actually like they are rooting for us and for non esport, and I'm just really happy that I am in there where I am right now because without my team I couldn't do it. Yeah.
All right,
Thanks for having me.
that's it for the video. Good luck in the World Championship. And yeah, thanks for the video.
No problem. See you.